Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my fifth degree page. I'm fifth degree, but you could call me fifth. Okay, so ultimately, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick little reading real fast. I know it's been a little minute since I've been able to do one, so hopefully everybody's doing okay, especially considering what it is we got going on with all these planets, right? And we are stepping into the shadow period, right? Of Mercury getting her micro braids, right? Stepping into the shadow period of Mercury getting her micro braids taken out, right? So you got to remember, you got to shampoo it, condition it, and reset it, right? If you know anything about doing hair, right, it's really important for you to take care of your hair in that regard because that'll tell the strength of what's extended of you, right? So just being mindful of those things. In addition, right. I don't know what's gonna come out in this reading, y'all. I really do not. But hopefully we could get some good messages and things of that nature going on and flowing through shit. Alright? Okay, yep. I figured this was the one. Alright, so I got two decks out, right? The first deck got out of course is the Kipper deck, right? And then the other one is the Hoodoo deck. Right? These are just the decks that I grabbed. It was like, alright, let me go ahead and just let's get these together real quick. Alright? Alright. So of course, this is a general reading, ladies and gentlemen. Not all readings are gonna resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That simply means that this reading isn't for you. Simply means this reading isn't for you. Alright? And if it don't fit, don't force it. If it does, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Alright? Okay. Alright, we got mature man, message of concern, adjudication, main male. Alright, so ultimately what it's getting is in regards to there's an older gentleman, who would be concerned about the judgments of a main male. This looked like a court situation. And then the overall essence of being great, having great fortune. Some of the different things it is that's coming into place with this that's really sticking out is it being about when a judgment is made, how one would clutch their pearls in regards to who the main male would be. And the irony that I'm seeing in regards to this is the mature man and the main male, they look one looks they look alike. They look alike but they not. It's like when you the distinguishment of a message of concern within there being judgment. 5, 14, 30, and 1. That's two fives. In short, how the shift would be broken down based off of the initiation of what it is that would be nurtured within there being intelligence of the supernatural initiation. Something else is kind of giving me is about being a made man. Made man or being made a man. main thing that's kind of coming to me is what your focus is as far as like a world viewpoint in this message of concern about this judgment. I'm gonna get a little bit more terror on it too though, cause it's like the light goes off. How the light go off? Come on, go off. It ultimately looks like there are some concerns. Okay, looks like there are some concerns in regards to what the judgment would be, how how a mature person would view a judgment. And then it's this Son of Sticks in reverse. Not being a short Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is one of them. Okay, so it's some tower moments in regards to the winning at all costs that comes into place with how things are balanced with them looking inside themselves and the income and good news of love. And it being a rebirth or ancestral. So ultimately, the tower moment that comes into place with it will be about winning at all costs and some shit it is that would happen over the course of 5 days. Within looking inside oneself for the justification of hatred. Oh my. Miss Robinson. Uh, yeah, what is given, how the judgment of obsession and an expansion. No, that ain't it. Then. Expansion, divination over the course of 3 years. The obsession over 3 years. One of the things that I'm going to go ahead and say, because we got this Two of Cups out, right? One of the things that comes into place with this that I'm seeing, that I know that definitely happens, when you're dealing with obsession, when you really hate a person but you're doing a love spell on them, that turns into obsession. Yeah, so this is why I tell y'all don't do love spells. Don't do the love spells, because if you're doing a whole bunch of love spells and shit, yeah, this shit could backfire on your ass. You got, if you gon' it's, I was just gonna say, it's a certain way that you need to do any type of spell work. You don't do a love spell on two people or on a person that you don't have feelings for, or if you're unsure of their feelings for you. That's that part. And the other portion of it, yeah, with them not being a Gemini, courting, some of the major ones that's coming into place is that is given is within Saturn being in retrograde. That's what's causing a lot of these judgments to come into place. Because Saturn going retrograde, a lot of people always have a tendency to forget this about what constitutes as karma. Karma, reaping what you sow, whatever it is that you believe, what you put out, you get back, right? Whatever you put out, you gonna get that shit back. You can call it whatever the hell you want to, but that's just how them shits boil and break down. It's that part. The other portion of it that'll come into place with the judgments in regards to the karmic essence or different seeds it is that would have been planted is kind of what that's given. And being judgmental with them waiting for victory and the doing of love, and one not being not having legacy or grandchildren, or not being a star. That's Uranus retrograde too. What it's giving is, yes, the screeching halt. And how it'll be, okay, something that's coming soon, how something will be constituted as deal breakers. Deal breakers. When you're dealing with so much hatred and shit, and you have certain deal breakers. And within one not being a Gemini and not courting. Not being a Gemini, not courting, not being a lover, and the transcendental spiritual truth that comes into place with there being one not being friends, and the incoming intimacy that'll come into place with what constitutes as being rejected. No, because what is given is in, okay, so on the business aspect, right, in regards to there being great fortune as a gift. How one wouldn't have had a passionate new beginning. Well, you're not gonna, yeah, if you burning candles, if you're doing love spells and love and all this other shit, of course you're gonna have some difficulties. Considering these different signs it is that's out here. And if you're talking about how Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio works, and the fast moving essence that'll come into place with Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or with just the nurturing aspect and the doing of love, you'll be amazed. Yeah, if it, within waiting, how fast things can move. Then waiting. Yeah, no, because what it's given is about being railroaded. Within the doing of love. Yeah, okay, so the time within winning at all costs, how a person would just want to do some shit just to win. That's that part. At the highest vibrational, this is going to be about what it is in a time moment, what it is to shift the thoughts in regards to, nah, this is about how a person would change someone. You can't change nobody, y'all. God. Yeah, you can't change a person. That's the biggest issue that's always coming to place, especially when you're dealing with Virgo essence, when you're dealing with Cancer essence, when you're dealing with anyone. That certain changes are things that should be made on their own. Is ultimately what I'm getting from this, especially when it comes to one not having a passionate new beginning, in regards to one not being a part of a third party situation, and one not celebrating. That's that part. The other portion of this is within the alchemicalization of things. It'll be about different celebrations, the passionate new beginning that comes with different celebrations in regards to what it is, the good news that will come in according to one's ambitions, and what will come in, what comes in the structure. And what it is to wait for victory with one being nurturing. discussion. Yeah, this is the hoodoo deck. The discussion of one being outside of emperor essence, tyranny, uh, tyranny, discussions, abortions, stopping. How one would stop. How things would stop. Ultimately, what I'm getting from this is within the doing of the shadow work, yeah, how one would try to change things in the shadow work aspect of what it is that would need to be done in the shadow for someone else. That's part one. Part two, and the different implanting a memory. How a person would try to implant a memory and how one would create a memory. That's something that's been coming to me for like the past couple days, right? Yeah, it's one of those how a person would, yeah, that'd be that Dreamcaster shit. So, yeah, because they'll try to make you remember something that didn't fucking happen. And it's one of those, nah, that's not why that shit didn't happen. And when you know for a fact it's one of those, no, that didn't happen. I don't give a fuck how many, and how you stand on what it is when you stand on the truth of it. What it is to stand on the truth with things. Oh, I just heard that solo. Say whatever you have to. Okay, so ultimately, a lot of this that it boils down to is when you're not dating, courting, when you really realistically have a lot of hatred around the situation, it's giving the whole people pleasing aspect. That's part one. Part two, when you spiritually, quote unquote, spiritually married to a person, yeah, that's the same as like doing ritual binding magic. There's that part. Yeah, when it's ritual binding magic and shit like that, and how people like to have those play on words, ultimately. It's pretty much the same shit when you courting a person, though. Yeah, because you're not actually married to them. That's like a betrothal type of situation. Or when you dating to marry. And a lot of people just not on it. Father of Baskets, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, overall essence in the upright. In short, the doing of love. So what this is kind of bringing it down to ultimately is you got this doing a love, whether it be in your Uranus, Saturn, and what's your Earth sign placement? Which area are you looking at in regards to what constitutes as reconciliations and endings? Reconciliations endings 10 days ago. Because what would be going on is how a person would be waiting for the fast moving and for shit to move real quickly, and what it is that would have been paid attention to, and not being a grandchild and going into things, yeah, further along. not being a star. The values and principles that are different when you on certain space in certain spaces, and what it is to be a star seed versus a celebrity is basically what this is giving. Yeah, especially when you're talking about this nine of nines and mediumship. What happens in regards to when the dead talk? Nope, it's speak of the dead. That's what that's about. Or speak of the dead, speak of the ending. And what happens when you say a person's name a lot. Ultimately, what this boils down to is how one wouldn't celebrate and wouldn't be a part of a third party situation. Not having a passion and new beginning within not being a part of a third party situation. That's at face value. But what would come in is a lot of shit that will be dealing with Emperor essence, uh, Capricorn essence, higher functioning Capricorn essence. Okay, because higher functioning Capricorn essence is going to talk about a lot of different things. Main thing it's going to talk about is your ambitions, what structures you're in, uh, who's over those structures, and what the transcendental spiritual truths are that are associated with the humanitarianism that comes with different situations and how they end and begin. Where does it start? Where does it end? Yeah, in short, when you dealing with root work, and yeah, in the gardening aspect, that's gonna talk about like how you get to the root of a situation, and with weeds, when you pull a weed out, it's you got to make sure you get the whole thing out. You can't get just no one or two pieces. And if you're dealing with an in root working, what has a tendency to happen is people don't pay this attention that much. But if the root already would have been pulled out and someone would have tried to put something else in it, when you pull out the root of something and you put and something else gets put into it, you got to make sure that there's no remnants of that particular weed beforehand. Yeah, that's giving like a landscaping aspect because it can fuck up what you're trying to grow later on down the line. Ultimately, why is this giving Potter's circle? No, because the other part of it is it'll be like a whole Harry Potter aspect. Let me see if Let me see if it's anything else I got for y'all real quick. I'm gonna grab these angel cards real quick and then I'm gonna get off here. And I hope this helps y'all out just a little bit. I've done this reading before. Within me doing this reading, yeah, I did this reading at my sister's house. And when I did this reading at my sister's house, though, it came out similar to this, but because of the space that I was working in. No, because the cards came out in the same way, and I ended up having to use a different deck. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, because it'll be about the whole doing the love aspect and all this. Clear yourself. Ultimately is what it boils down to. Ask the angels to release any toxic essences that you may have absorbed. You got to clear yourself out. And it being about a past life issue. This situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. One of the things that always comes into place with past life issues, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off here, they repeat in they will repeat in your current life, but the way it is that you handle it is what's most important. Okay? Yeah, trigger words, yeah, because some of it will be about like trigger words. And if you are in a process of paying more attention to glimmers, triggers opposed to glimmers, right? And different bonds it is that will come into place with it. Now, with this particular situation, what is given is how one would need to remember what it is that would have been stated as judgment calls in regards to how they felt about certain situations that would have been discussed within one not wanting to be a third party, and how a person would put an individual into a third party situation that they didn't ask for. Earth Angel, right? Overall essence of Earth Angel, you are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love and release. Work with Archangel. I'm hearing Uriel. It says Michael, though. And Zakiel. And Josephine. That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense because you're trying to provide balance in regard to what it is that would have been going on with the past life issues. But work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. You got to know what your the trick to this is. You got to know what your actual purpose is. You can't let nobody tell you what your purpose is. You got to know what it is. Especially when you're dealing with this whole past life issue aspect. And you having to remember what it was that you would have went through in a reconciliation. And paying attention to in the reconciliations of things, you need to take your maturity with you in regards to there being judgment of being the MVP. Yeah, that be the problem that comes. Yeah, when you talking about MVPs and all this other shit, you got to pay attention to what your surroundings are, because what you surrounded with will be what you attract more of. So if you surrounding yourself with peace, you're going to get more peace. If you surround yourself with negativity, you're going to get more negativity. If you, surrounding yourself with a whole bunch of bullshit, it's a whole bunch of bullshit. Being mindful that bullshit ain't necessarily a bad thing, because manure helps things grow. Okay? So I hope that helped y'all out just a little bit, gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at lightwork@gmail.com, all right? Because, see, remember, light work, it ain't like work. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.